Oh, I'm live. Hey! Hey, you guys! How are you? How are you? Yuhin Tom, welcome. Kevin, hey, thanks for coming. Hi! Lol. I've seen your comments on my videos. Glad you could join. Hey, QP, welcome back. What's up, Gabriel? Kuria! Hey, Nikki, glad you could join. How was your Christmas? Korea, you think you figured out who sent the killer doctor? Do you know? You figured it out? I don't know. You want to tell us who? What's up, Bruno? You think it was Bamboo Green and his auntie? Well, that's a good guess. That's a good guess. We'll see who it is. You hint time. It was terrible. Why was it terrible? What's up, Hope? Mine was good. My Christmas was good. We just had a small dinner with my parents and my brother. That's it. We had chicken. My mom made chicken. It was pretty good. She's she's Vietnamese, so she doesn't make chicken like very often, like a whole chicken. American chicken, not the Asian chicken. There's a difference. But she doesn't do that often, but it was pretty good. Your daughter told you. She spoiled it. Oh no. What's up, Losh? Christmas was bad. Why? Well, there's nowhere to go, so we're not like having family gatherings these days, but wait, you skipped school to watch this? What's up, Janeri? You made ham. That's fucking awesome. There are Asian chickens. I guess they're called like what? We call them in Vietnamese running chicken. So the meat is tighter. The meat is like, because they get, I guess they have time to run around the place instead of being stuck inside a cage like American chickens are. But the meat is tougher. Some people like the Asian kind better, and some people like the American kind. If you skipped school to watch this, bless you. Yes, that's right. Good job, chat. Howdy, evil goat. Chinatown in San Francisco. Asian chickens are scrawny and have heads. What do you mean? Like American chickens don't have heads? Well, I didn't get a chance to say Merry Christmas to you guys last time. So, Merry Christmas, okay? The holiday season is not over yet. We still have New Year's. And then 2020 is over, so thank God. Let's see what happens in 2021. Will it be better or will it be worse? Let me know. Let me know what you think. Well, since I didn't have a chance to say Merry Christmas to you guys last time, how about, boys and girls, why don't we just sit around the campfire? No, sit around the fireplace and listen to some singing. All right. I know it's after Christmas, but let's do some Christmas cheer. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. There you go. Some Christmas cheer. What's up, Dee Dee? Hugs to you too. Oh, I was serious. Thought I was kidding. The original song is German. Oh, I didn't know that. So, did you guys get any presents? I had I had a cool present. I had someone gave me gummy bears. Now, they're not the sad kind of gummy bears that you get in the market, right? They're not in a bag, in a packet, in a sad little packet. Their lives are probably really shitty. These are premium gummy bears. Check it out. Check it out. These are fancy as fuck. Oh, look at that. We got matcha bears. We got rose tea bears. We got peach tea bears. Look at that. All right. So, unfortunately, I already had these. I tasted them beforehand, but it's okay. Let's try the peach tea. I think these are the best. Ooh, look at this. Fancy. It's a peach bear. Oh. Good stuff. You got champagne. Wow. It does have that sweet peach taste. I imagine this is how peach in heaven tastes like. Peach in bear heaven, because I just sent a bear to heaven. That's good. Yeah, it looks really fancy because it's in a like a package and everything. They're in boxes, little clear, nice boxes. But they're basically the same as normal gummy bears. They're just in a nicer package. But yeah, and they have different flavors. So I never seen like a matcha flavor before. So it's good. Is it a Peach Valley 6 bear? That's really funny. Gotta eat 5 more of them. I'll eat another one. Ugh. I sent. Alright, you want me to send another bear to heaven? Then I'll do it. Say goodbye to this little bear. He's going to heaven. I can't talk while I chew, so you guys can just listen to me chew. Oh, hey, Link96 Cass. Well, I can't read French, but I'm sure what you're saying is very nice. So thanks for watching the videos. I'm glad you like them. Alrighty. I make you sad? You want some bears? Sorry. They're mine. My gift. I'm gonna eat them all. Okay, so let's get started. What happened last week. All right, let's do a recap. So last week, the Huashan school, the school where our main character is, um, they're traveling on a boat going down the river, and they found some people waiting by the bank of the river. Okay, and they stop, and the people are like, "Hey, hey," calling out to the boat, and the people were like, "Hey, is Ling Hu Chong on the boat, right?" And Ling Hu Chong was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's me. I'm on the board. I'm on the boat." So they come onto the boat and they give him a bunch of gifts, right? They're like a bunch of gifts, a bunch of fucking gummy bears, a bunch of wine, okay, which he loves. And they wouldn't tell anyone who they were, right? They wouldn't tell who sent them, who issued these gifts to Ling Hu Chong. They're just like, "Oh yeah, yeah, here are these gifts," and they hope he gets well because, as you know, he's sick, right? He's fatally sick. He's almost dead. So they wish him well, and then they leave. Okay, and we don't know who they are. And then so they travel down the river some more, and then they run into this other guy, this scholar. Okay, he runs onto the boat, and he wants to taste some wine. Okay, and he's a scholar. He's like, "Oh, I'm an expert at wine." Okay, and he says a lot of shit, says a lot of stuff about wine drinking, and one of the things he says is that, okay, you have to have to make sure that you best taste the wine, you have to pair the wine, the type of wine, with a type of cup. Okay, and he has like 8 types of cups. And he's like, okay, well, this wine goes with this cup, this wine goes with this cups. Okay, he's totally BSing. So he pretends to do that, and then he tells Ling Hu Chong to drink it, right? So he has 8 cups of wine, and he tells Ling Hu Chong to drink it. And our hero drinks it, and in each cup he's like, this doesn't taste like medicine at all. Okay, it doesn't. This doesn't taste like wine at all. It tastes kind of like medicine. But he drinks all 8 cups, right? And then afterwards, this other guy, this big fat dude, comes over, and he's really big. He's like a round ball, okay? And he's like, he goes up to the boat, and he's yelling like, "Where's my medicine? Where's my medicine?" All right. So we find out that, okay, this guy has been cultivating this medicine for like 12 years. He's been gathering the ingredients, and he's been making this medicine. Okay, and his medicine has 8 pills. Okay, so we discover that the scholar before had put medicine in those 8 cups of wine and gave it to Ling Hu Chong. Okay, so it seems like he was being nice. He wanted to treat Ling Hu Chong. He just tricked him to do so. So the scholar stole the pills and gave it to Ling Hu Chong. And this big fat guy, he's super mad, but then he gets into a fight. And this guy is like super weird because he's like a turtle where his arms and legs can extend and retract like a turtle, right? So that's how he fights. But then there's too many people that the Peach Valley 6 fairies were protectors of Ling Hu Chong, so they fight against him, and he can't beat them. So the big fat guy runs away, okay? And he sinks their boat in the process. But it's okay, because they found another boat. Yeah, and that's what happened. That was weird. So the question that we have in our mind is that, why, okay, who keeps sending these people to help Ling Hu Chong? Okay, why is he being so respected by so many strangers? That's a mystery that we don't know yet. So that's a recap. How's that? Dun, 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 dun. The Poison Princess was your favorite. Hey, George. Then for me, am I sweating? I'm not sweating. It's the light. It's the lighting hitting my face. Yeah. I think if I put makeup on, it'll lessen the sweat. But I don't have makeup. Because I don't know what my color is. You guys tell me what my color is and I'll buy some makeup. I won't. For the holidays, Amy, you received a lot of chocolate, bags of nuts, holiday flavored cupcakes, a soy candle, clothing, and official Disney shirt. Awesome. That's cool. That's a lot. Okay, I love getting food gifts. Okay. Those are my favorite gifts. Besides money, besides dollars. Food is my favorite gifts of any time. Of any type. Oh, QP. QP says, I'm not sweating. I'm actually glowing. Thank you. That's very nice of you. Did I mention all the gold he was sent? Oh, did they give him gifts of gold too? Yeah, they're very it's like, why are these people giving him gifts? It doesn't make any sense. Okay. Let's get us started. So remember, their boat sank and they found another boat. So they're still traveling down the river. Yue Buchun lay in the cabin. Sound of the river waves beating the shore echoed in his ears, as his many thoughts also whirled around in his head. Slowly he fell into a state of ooziness when suddenly something caught his attention, the sounds of footsteps coming closer and closer from ashore. Sitting up from his bed, he looked out through a crack of the window. Under the misty moonlight, he could vaguely see two shadows running towards the boat from afar. One of them raised his right hand, and at that signal, both of them stopped, still dozens of feet away from the boat. Knowing that the two of them would undoubtedly be talking in whispers, Yue Buchun started loading his... He started loading his divine art of violet twilight. And instantly his sense of vision and hearing sharpened dramatically, and the distance he could see and hear increased considerably. Remember, the divine art of violet twilight is his chi techniques. And so apparently chi does a lot of things, like enhances your sense of vision and hearing. That's the boat, one of the men whispered. I made a mark on the mat of the boat earlier, right after that old fellow from the Huashan school hired the boat. It's got to be it. That's great. Let's report back to Uncle Master Zhu then. Senior apprentice brother, when did our 100 toxic faction start a feud with the Huashan school? Why is Uncle Master Zhu going through so much trouble to intercept them in such a big way? The other one asked in whispers. As soon as Yue Buchun heard the words 100 toxic faction, his heart skipped a beat, as a slight chill shot down his spine. Because of the slight distraction, the power of the divine art of violet twilight decreased, and all he could pick out were pieces of words from the conversation. Not intercepting. Uncle Master Zhu owed someone a favor, and that someone asked him to inquire about somebody. It wasn't, the previous one replied. The man spoke in such a low voice that Yue Buchun could only hear fractions of the sentence and couldn't put the meaning of the words together. By the time he reloaded his divine art of violet twilight, all he heard were sounds of footsteps descending further and further. The two men had faded into the darkness. How did our Huashan school start a feud with the 100 toxic faction? Yue Buchun thought aloud. That 100 Master Zhu they mentioned most probably is the headmaster of the 100 toxic faction. This man has a nickname called Non-Lethal Man. Oh, he doesn't sound so bad. It is said that this man possesses outstanding skills in the art of poisoning. To kill someone with poison is simple. Anybody can achieve that easily. But when this man poisons someone, the victim won't die. Instead, he will feel such great torment as if he had been cut thousands of times, or as if there are tens of thousands of bugs chewing and feasting on his flesh. The misery is going to be so immense that the victim would have been better off dead, yet he won't even have enough strength left to commit suicide, and would have no other choice but to suffer more. Together with the 5 Sylph sect in Yunnan province, the 100 Toxic faction has been named the ultimate 2 poisonous clans in the martial world. Although it is said that the 100 Toxic faction is still inferior to the 5 Sylph sect, it is certainly no trivial matter. Why would this Master Zhu give me trouble in a big way? Who has asked him to do it? Yue Buchun pondered the question over and over, but could only come up with 2 explanations. Number 1, Feng Buping of the Sword Branch must have asked the 100 Toxic faction to give trouble to him. Number 2, among the 15 assassins Ling Huchang had blinded, someone must have been friends with the 100 Toxic faction. Suddenly, a girl's whispering voice from ashore caught his attention. Does your family really have that whatever evil-resisting sword manuscript, after all? It was the voice of his daughter, Yue Lingshan. Yue Buchun didn't even have to listen on to figure out whom she was talking to. It of course had to be Lin Pingzhi. They must have sneaked ashore earlier sometime. Yue Buchun suddenly realized that his daughter's feelings towards Lin Pingzhi had been growing day after day lately. Oh yeah, he just realized that? Come on, Dad. You should have known it, like, a couple years ago. The two dared not to show their affection during the day, afraid that people would make fun of them. So instead, they went ashore for a date late at night. If it weren't because he had detected enemy coming ashore and used his divine art of violet twilight to spy on them, this would have certainly slipped by him. To load the divine art of violet twilight would exhaust a good amount of inner energy. He wouldn't have used it under ordinary circumstances. He certainly didn't expect to find his daughter's little secret get together with the origin of the enemy. Then he heard... Daughter's little secret together with the origin of the enemy. Then he heard Lin Pingzhi's voice. We do have the evil-resisting sword art, and I've shown you the moves several times, but we really don't have the sword art manuscript. And why do your grandpa and your two uncles keep suspecting Big Apprentice Brother for embezzling your sword art manuscript? Yue Lingshan asked. Well, they suspected him, but I didn't, Lin Pingzhi answered. How convenient. Let others suspect for you, and save yourself the trouble, Yue Lingshan said. If my family really had some kind of brilliant sword art manuscript, our Fortune Prestige Escort House wouldn't have been so bullied so much by the Qincheng Sword School, and my family wouldn't have been broken up, Lin Pingzhi sighed. That's true. Then, when your grandpa and your uncles suspected Big Apprentice Brother, why didn't you defend him against the charge? Yue Lingshan asked. I didn't hear my mom and dad's words with my own ears. I wouldn't have any ground to defend him from, Lin Pingzhi argued. So you do suspect Big Apprentice Brother after all, Yue Lingshan concluded. Don't say that. If Big Apprentice Brother hears this, it will certainly hurt the brotherhood of fellow apprentices, Lin Pingzhi suggested. Why do you have to put up so much affectation? Yue Lingshan sneered. Either you do suspect him or you don't. If I were you, I'd have asked Big Apprentice Brother a long time ago. She paused for a second and then spoke again. You are so much like my father. Both of you suspect Big Apprentice Brother in your hearts and believe that he had embezzled your family's sword art manuscript. Master suspects him too? Lin Pingzhi intercepted. If you don't suspect him, why did you use the word too? I didn't say that your personality is almost identical to my... Didn't I say that your personality is almost identical to my father's? Both of you keep your thoughts to yourself, but never speak it out directly. Yue Lingshan chuckled. Suddenly, a croaked voice roared from the boat right next to the boat of the Huashan members. You shameless scoundrels! What a bunch of crap! Ling Huchong is a true hero. Why would he want your goddamned sword art manuscript? Do you know what kind of lowlifes I hate the most? The kind that talks garbage behind someone's back. His voice exploded like thunders from the sky. Not only were passengers from the many boats along the riverbank waking up, even the many birds sleeping on the tree branches along the riverbank were startled and began chirping loudly. Immediately following the shout, a huge shadow leapt out of the boat and glided toward Lin Pingzhi and Yue Lingshan rapidly. Neither Lin Pingzhi nor Yue Lingshan had brought a sword when they came ashore, so both of them could only rush to defend themselves with kicks and punches. As soon as Yue Buchun heard the man's roar, he could tell that this man must have had resourceful inner energy. And the leap and the glide the man demonstrated clearly showed that he possessed first-class kung fu skills. Seeing that the man had launched the attack against his daughter, Yue Buchun shouted out in desperation, "Please, show mercy!" Hastily, Yue Buchun threw himself at the window and crashed through it to leap toward the riverbank. Still in mid-air, he could already see that the giant man had grabbed both Lin Pingzhi and Yue Lingshan and darted forward with one in each hand. Yue Buchun was astounded. As soon as his right foot touched the ground, he dashed forward using his Qinggong techniques at once. Wielding a move named White Aurora Shooting the Sun, he thrust his sword toward the man's back. The man had a very big and tall body, so of course his steps were much bigger than average. He took a step forward and the stab from Yue Buchun was out of range. Without any delay, Yue Buchun followed with a move called Zhongping Sword and shot his blade forward a second time. The giant man just happened to take another giant step forward, and once again the attack missed the target. Oh, Losh says, at least Yue Lingshan is not a hypocrite like her father and boyfriend. Oh, so she does have some good to her. So the 100 toxic faction uses 100 different toxic substances. Ah, gotcha. Look out! Yue Buchun let out a crisp roar and shouted out as he stabbed his sword out, swiftly, using a move named Cool Breeze Brings Comfort. When the tip of the blade was within 1 foot from the man's back, suddenly a strong wind embraced Yue Buchun as someone charged against him from the side, poking 2 fingers toward his eyes viciously. It was at the end of the street. A row of houses by the street blocked the moonlight and cast a long shadow on the street. Yue Buchun quickly turned his body aside and dodged the attack. Swinging his long sword with an angle, he sliced the blade out as his counterattack before even catching a glimpse of the enemy. The attacker lowered his head and then stepped forward with a clawed hand striking towards Yue Buchun's Zhongwan point on his stomach. Yue Buchun threw a front kick. The man spun around and struck toward his back. Without turning back, Yue Buchun shot a speedy thrust backward with a backhand, but the man dodged the thrust once again and then charged forward to punch at Yue Buchun's chest. Yue Buchun was infuriated. How dare this man be so disrespectful to fight his longsword with bare hands, yet using all attacking moves. In the fury, he made a circular motion with the sword and then poked upward all of a sudden toward the enemy's forehead. In a rush, the man flicked the sword with his finger, which changed the direction of the poke slightly. Following the flow of the force, Yue Buchun turned the poke into a slice, and with a slight tearing sound, he had chopped the man's hat off, exposing a shaven head. The man turned out to be a monk. Blood gushed down from his head. Obviously, the slice had injured him. Giving the ground a hard push, the monk leapt backward hastily. Ooh. Do I have any sound effects for this? I guess we can do this. Kinda, a little bit. Seeing that he fled in the opposite direction from the giant who kidnapped Yue Lingshan, Yue Buchun didn't chase after him. By then, Madame Yue had caught up with him, sword in her hand. "Where's Lingshan?" she asked distractedly. "This way." Yue Buchun pointed with his left hand, and the couple immediately chased on, following the road the giant had taken. But soon the road intersected with many other roads, and they couldn't tell which way the enemy had taken. "What now? What now?" Madame Yue cried in despair. "The man that kidnapped Lingshan is a friend of Chong. I suppose he won't go so far as to hurt Lingshan. Let's go ask Chong to find out more about it," Yue Buchun suggested. Wait, how did he know that the guy is a friend of Chong? Oh, I guess the guy was praising Ling Hu Chong, so that's why he thought it was a friend. Ah, so many misconceptions and misunderstandings. "That's right. The man shouted out loud saying that Lingshan and Pingzhi was defaming Chong. I wonder what made him say that." Madame Yue nodded. Ah, what is the voice that I gave her again? I forgot. "It's about the evil resisting sword manuscript again," Yue Buchun explained. When the Yue couple arrived back at the riverbank, they found Ling Hu Chong and the many apprentices all standing by the river, looking deeply concerned. After Yue Buchun and Madame Yue walked back into the middle cabin, they were just about to send for Ling Hu Chong for further inquiries. A voice suddenly rose in a distance from ashore. I gave her the hot, middle-aged lady voice. I don't even know what that means. "Here's a letter for Yue Buchun." Lao Dunois and a few male apprentices unsheathed their swords immediately and leapt back ashore. Only moments later, Lao Dunois returned to the cabin and reported, "Master, we found this piece of cloth under a rock on the ground. The messenger left before we got there." He presented the piece of cloth. Yue Buchun picked up the cloth and took a good look at it. The cloth was apparently torn from a robe, and someone had written some tremulous words in blood using his finger. It read, "Will return your stinking daughter on the 5 Tyrant Ridge." That monk wrote this, handing the cloth over to his wife. Yue Buchun claimed dryly, Whose blood is this?" Madame Yue, that's more like it. Madame Yue asked anxiously. "Don't worry, I gave him a cut on the forehead," Yue Buchun comforted her. He turned to the boatman and asked, "How far are we from the 5 Tyrant Ridge?" "If we set sail early in the morning after the Copper Tao Town and the Juhe Town, it's Dongming Town. The 5 Tyrant Ridge is to the east of Dongming, next to Heize. It's right on the border between Hunan Province and Shandong Province. If misters want to go there, we can probably get there by dusk tomorrow," the boatman answered. Yue Buchun answered with a hum as he thought aloud. "They are asking me to meet them on the 5 Tyrant Ridge. This is an appointment I simply can't refuse, but who knows how many people they will have there. Besides, they have Lingshan in their hands. I guess this is a battle I am destined to lose." He couldn't help but hesitate. Suddenly, someone shouted from ashore. "Peach Valley's 6 goblins, you damned buttheads! I am your lord, Zhong Kui, here to hunt you bunch of goblins down." There was simply no way the Peach Valley 6 fairies would be taking those words lightly. Well, so many new people, guys. So many new characters. There was simply no way the Peach Valley 6 fairies would be taking those words lightly. All 6 of them instantly cursed back with streams of abuses, except for Fruit Fairy, who couldn't move. The remaining 5 fairies all leapt ashore without any delay. What they saw was a man with a needle hat, holding a long, narrow white banner. At the sight of the 5 fairies, the man turned around immediately and started running. Oh no, I think he's just trying to get the fairies away. It's like a distraction. "Peach Valley 6 goblins are all cowards! I dare you to come after me!" he shouted without slowing down his steps. Bellowing furiously, Root Fairy and the rest of the 4 fairies darted after the man. but the man certainly had first-class Qinggong skills. Within seconds, the 6 of them had been swallowed up by the darkness. At the time, Yue Buchun and the many Huashan school members had all come ashore. Suddenly, Yue Buchun shouted, "This is a trick to lure us away! Get back to the boat, right away, everybody!" Right at the moment, a ball-shaped shadow suddenly rolled out from nowhere and grabbed onto Ling Huchang's collar in a swift maneuver. "You come with me," he shouted. It was none other than that meatball man. Oh, the meatball man is back. The turtle man. He wants his medicine. In his tight grips, Ling Huchang had no way of defending himself. Suddenly, another man dashed out from behind a street corner and threw a flying kick toward the meatball man. It was Branch Fairy. Turned out that after he chased after the man with a needle hat for a few hundred feet, he suddenly remembered that his brother, Fruit Fairy, was still on board. Afraid that his brother might be taken away by that goddamned Lord Zhong Kui, he rushed back in guard. And when he saw that the meatball man had taken Ling Huchang prisoner, he immediately rushed over in rescue. The meatball man instantly dropped Ling Huchang and in a flash had entered the cabin and leapt by Fruit Fairy's bed. Lifting his right foot, he assumed a posture of stepping down on Fruit Fairy's chest. "Don't hurt my brother!" Branch Fairy shouted in shock. "Old man is calling the shot here. Why do I have to listen to you?" the meatball man mocked. Wasting no time, Branch Fairy leapt into the cabin and with a quick pull, he had both Fruit Fairy and the bedplate in his arms. That was exactly what the meatball man had wanted, to draw him away from Ling Huchang. Leaping back ashore speedily, he had Ling Huchang in his grips once again. Throwing Ling Huchang onto his shoulders, he ran away in a scoot. Branch Fairy suddenly remembered Ping One Finger had asked them, the 5 brothers, to take good care of Ling Huchang. And now Ling Huchang had just been kidnapped. How would they ever justify themselves to Ping One Finger? Certainly, Dr. Ping would ask them to kill Fruit Fairy as punishment. But if he left Fruit Fairy unattended, how would Fruit Fairy be able to defend himself at all in his injured state if any enemy were to attack? At that thought, he held Fruit Fairy in his arms and chased after the meatball man at once. What? First gummy bears, now meatballs? I am in a food mood. I'm in a hungry mood. Wait, why are you guys cheering for the meatball man? He's kidnapping our hero, guys. Don't cheer for the meatball man. Although he did just get his medicine stolen, the medicine that he worked 12 years to make. He has betrayed Gummy Bear Clan. That's right. Yue Buchun waved a beckon to his wife. "You take care of the apprentices. I'll go take a look," he said. Madame Yue nodded. Both of them knew too well that with so many tough enemies hidden in the dark, if both of them were to chase after the enemy, perhaps all the apprentices would be in harm's way. The meatball man's Qinggong was really far less than that of the Branch Fairy. So remember, Qinggong is like lightness techniques. So if you have good Qinggong, if you have high level Qinggong, you can run really fast or jump really high. Yeah, you can stand on like tree branches like they do in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. But with Ling Huchang, the meatball man's Qinggong was really far less than that of the Branch Fairy. But with Ling Huchang on his shoulder, he was able to run with all his might, while Branch Fairy didn't want to risk aggravating Fruit Fairy's wounds and had to carry Fruit Fairy with both arms while running in steady steps, thus simply couldn't gain any distance with the chase. So the Branch Fairy is carrying his brother while he's chasing after this meatball man. Yue Buchun also used his Qinggong techniques and gradually caught up with them. Then he was able to pick out Branch Fairy's shouting voice, bellowing again and again, demanding that the meatball man let Ling Huchang go, or else he wouldn't let it go at that. Even though Fruit Fairy couldn't move his body, he definitely didn't want to give his mouth a rest and kept arguing with Branch Fairy along the way. Even if you can't really catch up with him, none of our other brothers are here. What you gonna do? And if there's nothing you can do about it, what you just said, that you wouldn't let it go at that, is only bluffing then, he said. Even if I am bluffing, I will at least scare the enemies and slow him down. It's still better than not bluffing, Branch Fairy argued. Can't you tell that the Meatball Man is still maintaining a good running this speed and is not slowing down at all? I don't think your bluffing is getting us anywhere, Fruit Fairy mocked. Well, he hasn't slowed down yet, but trust me, he will slow down after a while, Branch Fairy disagreed. Even with Fruit Fairy in his arms and while debating endlessly, he was still able to maintain his speed and showed no sign of slowing down. One after another, running in a straight line, the three of them kept running toward the northeast, and the road gradually turned into a rugged and rough mountain path. Yuebuchun suddenly thought of something. If the Meatball Man had set up an ambush here in the valley, and as soon as I run into their trap, the many elite fighters suddenly launch an all-out attack, it would be extremely dangerous. At the thought, he slowed down and pondered over the possibilities. Meanwhile, the Meatball Man had run toward a house by the hillside and quickly climbed over a wall into the house. After a quick check around, Yuebuchun resumed the chase. By then, carrying Fruit Fairy in his arms, Branch Fairy had also climbed over the wall and went in. Suddenly, he uttered a loud cry, apparently falling into some kind of trap. Yuebuchun sneaked closer to the wall and then heard Fruit Fairy's voice. Didn't I tell you before to watch out for yourself? See, you just wouldn't listen to me. Well, I guess you like being trapped in this fishing net like a big fish. First of all, it's two big fish, not a big fish. Secondly, when the hell did you tell me to watch out? Branch Fairy said sulkily. Remember that time we went to that courtyard to steal guavas on the tree when we were still kids, and I told you to watch out for yourself? Don't you remember? Fruit Fairy reminded him. That was like 30 years ago. What has that gotten anything to do with right now? Branch Fairy disputed. Of course it does. That time you were so careless and fell off the tree. Then you got caught and took a good beating. Only after Big Brother, Second Brother, Fourth Brother, and Fifth Brother came by in time were they able to rescue you and kill that entire family. Now you are being careless again and got caught again, Fruit Fairy said. What's the big deal? At the most, we'll just have to wait until the rest of our brothers get here and kill this entire family once again, Branch Fairy replied. Huh, you two Peach Valley goblins. Even just moments before your own death, you were still thinking about killing people. Now shut the hell up and spare my ears some peace, the Meatball Man said in a chilling tone. Some muffled voices from Branch Fairy and Fruit Fairy followed, and soon they both fell silent. Apparently, the Meatball Man had placed some kind of anesthetics in their mouth to shut them up. Yeah, he is fast for being a meatball-shaped guy. He's not very aerodynamic, right? Oh, hey, Veronica. Well, I'm glad you like this story. I like reading it. All right, let's take a break. Take a 5-minute break. While I play you guys a song. Yeah, things are happening fast. We're being introduced to new characters. This meatball guy seems like a bad dude. Let's see what's on. All right. 5-minute break, guys. I'll be right back. Holy shit, what a voice. Oh my god. He has quite the voice. I like this comment from the chat. Udistira says, I haven't even finished the first stream because I use it to help me fall asleep. Well, I'm glad that my voice makes you fall asleep. It happens in real life too. It's funny. And Yuhin Tom says, Linfamy will not read this. Well, I did read it. What now, Yuhin Tom? Huh? Are you gonna eat your words? Eat your words! Tay-tay. The background isn't very Linfamy looking. Well, the background, yeah. The background is a stock background. I didn't draw it. I'm too lazy. All right, time for another gummy bear. All right, which one should I get? We had the peach already. So now we're gonna eat the matcha bears. Sound good. Or the rose tea bears. Matcha is usually good, right? I say as if I never ate it before, but I did. Oh, hey, Patrick. Welcome. Didn't see you before. Your daughter goes to sleep listening to Smiling Proud Wander. My real house is a moat. That's correct. I don't know what that means, but that's correct. All right, we got rose tea, matcha, rose matcha. I do not have a meatball flavored one. Nope, nope. All right, let's do the matcha. Do 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 do. Ooh. All right. We are the killers of gummy bears. This one looks good. Goodbye, Mr. Bear. Tastes kind of like matcha slash green apple. Has kind of a sour taste to it. Yeah, the matcha is very light though. I would have liked if the matcha flavor was a little stronger. I still like the peach one better than this one, but it's good. Holy shit, Patrick! It's 3:22 a.m. where you are. What are you doing up? Oh my goodness. Your sleep schedule is as bad as mine. Oh, you want me to bite the head off? Okay. Why you gotta make me torture these bears? They've been through enough. Look, they're trapped in a cage. Just waiting for someone to eat them. Alright. Bite the head off. Oh shit. Oh no! Mr. Bear! Alright. Biting the head off. Yeah. There you go. I just tortured the freaking bear. I beheaded it. Using my chi powers. I called out some chi and concentrated into my teeth, and I just bit his head off. Alright, now for the rest of his body. This chapter is super short. Would you consider reading 2 tonight as a Christmas treat? Ah. We'll see. How do you know how short it is? We'll see. We'll see. What happens at the end? See if I'm up for it. So, alright, so our hero has been kidnapped by the meatball man. And it looks like he has some friends to help him. Okay. So what's gonna happen now? So the meatball man had placed some kind of anesthetics in their mouth to shut them up. Yuebuchun inclined his head and listened warily for a good while, but all he heard was silence on the other side of the wall. He crept closer to the wall and found a big jujube tree. Jujube? Jujube? What the hell is that? Jujube tree. They are pretty trees with glossy green leaves that turn yellow in the autumn. Okay, well, I guess that's a jujube. Jujube? Is that does it have fruit? I guess it has. This is a jujube fruit then? It does look kind of familiar. Okay, well, there you go. Learn something new every day. Jujube tree. Oh, let's see how you pronounce it. Dictionary. Oh, I've probably had this before, actually. Oh.
Jujube.
Jujube. Oh, totally wrong. I was totally wrong. It's jujube. I like that. Jujube. The jujube tree. He crept closer to the wall and found a big jujube tree right next to the wall. So he gently leapt up the jujube tree and then looked inside. A small hut stood about a dozen feet from the wall. Since Branch Fairy fell into the fishing net right after he climbed over the wall, Yuebuchun figured that the space between the hut and the wall most probably had all kinds of booby traps. Hiding himself behind the dense leaves of the jujube tree, he loaded the divine art of Violet Twilight and listened carefully. It is a Chinese date. Gotcha. The meatball man set Ling Huchong down in a chair. How the hell are you related to Zhu Qianchu, that old rascal? He asked in a low and deep tone. I've only met Zhu Qianchu the first time today. Why should I be related to him? Ling Huchong asked. Even now, you are still lying! The meatball man roared angrily. Don't forget that you are in my hands now. I guarantee you a most miserable death. I accidentally ate your precious Catholicon. Is that a convention for Catholics? Come on. Do we have to look that up too? Oh god. This is a stream where we just look up words because I'm too stupid to know what they are. Catholicon. Oh. A panacea. Well, why didn't you just say that? Oh, it's a panacea. I accidentally ate your precious Catholicon. It's only natural that you are mad at me. But to be honest with you, I really doubt that your pills are as great as how you have described them. See, after I took them, there's no improvement at all, Ling Huchong answered with a grin. What made you think the results has to be immediate? The meatball man rebuffed angrily. The common saying says, illness comes in overwhelming force, as if a mountain had collapsed, but will only recede little by little, as if reeling the silk thread of a cocoon. Only after 10 to 15 days will the medicine show its efficacy. Then how about we wait 10 to 15 days to find out, Ling Hucheng suggested. How about you kiss my ass? You ate my life-extending 8 pills on the sly. Old man is gonna waste you right now. The meatball man roared furiously. But if you waste me right now, then my life would have ended right now. That just proves that your life-extending 8 pills doesn't extend life after all, Ling Hucheng grinned. I am killing you. It has nothing to do with the life-extending 8 pills, the meatball man replied. If you are going to kill me, help yourself. I have no strength left in me, and I'm incapable of self-defense anyhow, Ling Hucheng sighed. You want it quick? It's not gonna be that easy. But I have to straighten something out first. God damn it. Zhu Qianchu is my decades-long friend. There has gotten to be a good reason behind this that made him betray me. Your Huashan school is worthless in the eyes of the old ancestor of the Yellow River, so of course he didn't steal my life-extending 8 pills for you just because you are an apprentice of the Huashan school. How odd! How odd! While talking to himself, he stamped his feet to the floor angrily. Oh, so the scholar, Zhu Qianqiu, and this meatball man were friends. And he just got betrayed by his friend. Oh, I see. So your nickname is Old Ancestor of the Yellow River. Sorry, I didn't know you before, Ling Hucheng said. Nonsense! How can I be the Old Ancestor of the Yellow River, all by myself? The meatball man chided. Why can't you? Ling Hucheng asked curiously. One is surnamed Old, and the other is surnamed Zhu. It of course takes 2 to make up the Old Ancestor of the Yellow River. I guess Zhu means ancestor. You can't even figure this out? What a moron. I am Old Lord, Old Man, and he is Zhu Ancestor, Zhu Qianqiu. Since we both live by the Yellow River, that's why we are called the Old Ancestor of the Yellow River. Why is one called Old Lord and the other one Zhu Ancestor? Ling Hucheng couldn't help but ask. That's because you are too ignorant and don't know that there are surnames like Old or Zhu. My last name is Old. My first name is Lord, and my first name... Wait. Sorry. My last name is Old, and my middle name is Lord, and my first name is Man. So when others call my name, they either call me Old Lord or Old Man, the meatball man explained. Ling Hucheng simply couldn't help and burst into laughter. I bet that Zhu Qianqiu's middle name is Ancestor then, he said. Of course, the meatball man, Old Man, answered. He paused for a moment and then muttered in surprise. What? You don't even know Zhu Qianqiu's name? Then maybe you are not related to him. Well, wait, are you Zhu Qianqiu's son? How the heck did you get that idea? His surname is Zhu, and my surname is Ling Hu. How did you mix that up? Ling Hucheng found this even funnier. How bizarre! I went through so much painstaking effort, by hook or by crook, and finally was able to make the life-extending 8 pills so I can use them to cure my darling daughter's illness. If you aren't Zhu Qianqiu's son, why would he steal my precious pills to feed you? Old Man muttered to himself. Oh no! The medicine is supposed to cure his daughter. By then, Ling Hucheng finally became aware. So, these pills of yours, Mr. Old, are for your daughter's illness. I am so sorry that I have taken them by mistake. May I ask what kind of illness does your daughter have? Why don't you ask the killer doctor, Dr. Ping, to treat her? Pah! Pah! Old Man spat in aversion. Consult Ping One Finger when one has hard-to-cure disease. Of course I know that. I live here in Kaifeng, you dummy. He has this rule that after he cures one, another one must be killed, to even the numbers. In order to get him to treat my daughter, I went ahead and killed the entire family of 5 of his in-laws. By then, he finally couldn't reject and devoted himself in diagnosing my daughter's disease. He found out that even before my daughter was born, she already had this weird disease, so he prescribed the instruction for the life-extending 8 pills for me. Otherwise, how the heck would I know how to make the 8 pills? The more Ling Huchong heard, the more surprised he felt. If Senior Master, you wanted to... Wait. If you wanted Dr. Ping to treat your daughter, why did you kill his in-laws' entire family? He asked, utterly confused. Man, you are so dumb. Let me explain. Ping One Finger didn't have many foes to start with, and in the last several years, even these few have been wiped out by his patients. Out of all the people in the world, Ping One Finger hated his mother-in-law the most, but because he fears his wife, he couldn't kill his mother-in-law himself, or sent anyone to do it for him. Old Man here is his neighbor, and a fellow martial man in the same region. Of course I know what's on his mind. That's why I did it for him. After I killed the entire family of his in-laws, Ping One Finger was filled with joy. That's why he worked his butt off to diagnose my daughter's illness and prescribed me the treatment, Old Man explained. I see, Ling Huchong nodded. Master Old, your pills are wonderful medicine, but they don't suit my illness. How is your daughter doing right now? Is there enough time to collect the ingredients and make new pills for her? My daughter will only have 1 year left at most. What makes you think there's still time to make new pills? Or Old Man roared angrily. Alas, having no other alternatives, I guess I'll just have to give it one last try. He took out several ropes and firmly tied Ling Huchong's wrists and ankles to the chair. Tearing open Ling Huchong's robe, he exposed Ling Huchong's chest. What are you doing? Ling Huchong asked. Don't worry, you'll see, Old Man answered with a fleer. I think that's a sneer, right? Is that another word that I don't know? It can't be. Okay. Oh my god, fleer is a word.
Fleer.
It means to laugh impudently or jeeringly. Picking Ling Huchong up together with the chair, he walked through 2 rooms, and after lifting a heavy cotton curtain, he went into the 3rd room. As soon as Ling Huchong entered the room, he felt the extreme mugginess inside. The room was completely sealed, even the windows were covered with cotton sheets, making sure that no wind would sneak in from any crack of the window. 2 large basins filled with charcoal fire occupied the middle of the room. The bed was by one side of the room with curtains hanging low, almost touching the ground. The entire room was filled with a strong smell of herb medicine. Old Man set the chair down in front of the bed and then lifted the curtain. Not dead, my sweet girl. How are you feeling today? He asked gently. Ling Huchong couldn't believe what he had just heard. What? The name of Old Man's daughter is Not Dead? Wouldn't that make the girl's full name Old Not Dead? Ah, I see. He mentioned that his daughter had this weird disease even before she was born. He probably was very afraid of losing her, hence naming her Not Dead as a lucky charm, because it would certainly be a very fortunate thing if one can live till he's very old. Wait, her name starts with the word not a member of my master's apprentice class. The more he thought about it, the more amused he became. A girl lay on the bed with her eyes shut tightly. She was probably around 17 years of age. Her face was completely pale and her long hair scattered all over the quilt, looking somewhat yellowish and unhealthy. Okay. She's a young girl. Well, she's 17, not that young. Daddy, the girl murmured. That's way too young. Daddy. That sounds the same. The girl murmured without opening her eyes. Not dead, my sweetheart. The life-extending 8 pills Daddy has been preparing for you are finally ready today. What? After you take them, you will get better in no time, and you'll finally be able to get up and play, Old Man said gently. The girl answered with a hum, and didn't seem to be very concerned. Seeing the seriousness of the girl's disease, Ling Hucheng felt very sorry for her. Old Man must have loved her daughter. Wait, his daughter. That's a mistake. Old Man must have loved his daughter so very much that he couldn't bear to bring himself to speak the truth and had to lie to cheer her up, he thought to himself. Old Man put his arm under his daughter's neck. Why don't you sit up a little? It will be easier this way when you take the medicine. The medicine didn't come easy at all. We'd better not waste any of it, he explained. The girl slowly sat up and Old Man immediately placed 2 pillows behind her back to make it a little more comfortable for her. The girl opened her eyes and then caught the sight of Ling Hucheng. Utterly surprised, she rolled her eyes and stared at Ling Hucheng. Dad, who is he? She asked. Him? He is no human. He is medicine. Oh shit. Old Man beamed. He is medicine? Medicine? The girl was baffled. Yes, he is medicine indeed. The effect of the life-extending 8 pills are way too strong for you, my darling. That's why I had this man take the pills instead, so I can draw blood from him as medicine for you, Old Man replied. Draw blood from him? Won't that inflict pain for him? That's probably not a good idea, the girl murmured. This man is a R-word. He won't feel any pain, Old Man comforted her. The girl answered with a hum and then closed her eyes. With a feeling of mingled shock and fury, Ling Hucheng almost broke out swearing, but then on a second thought he changed his mind. Although I didn't take the girl's life-saving pills intentionally, if she dies because of it, there's still fault on my part. Besides, I don't want to live on like this anyway, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to atone for my mistake by saving her life with my blood. At that thought, he let out a mournful smile and kept his silence. Oh, he's such a good guy. He's willing to just let himself die to save this little girl. Old Man stood next to Ling Hucheng, ready to seal his silence point as soon as the first word came out of his mouth. But to his great surprise, he found a well-composed and unconcerned Ling Hucheng smiling at him quietly instead. Of course, he had no clue that Ling Hucheng had remained disheartened ever since Yue Lingshan had fallen in love with someone else. Especially when Ling Hucheng heard the mysterious man chiding Yue Lingshan and Lin Pingzhi for defaming him behind his back, and then seeing them dating secretly ashore, he had completely lost the desire to live on and couldn't have cared less about his own life. I am going to cut open your heart and use your warm blood to treat my daughter now. Aren't you afraid? Old Man asked. Why should I be afraid? Ling Hucheng replied calmly. Old Man cast a side glance at Ling Hucheng for a moment, and sure enough, there was no trace of fear to be found anywhere on Ling Hucheng's face. After I cut your heart open and draw your blood out, you are going to die. Now, don't blame me for not telling you that beforehand, Old Man said. Everyone will die sooner or later. It's really not that big of a difference, whether one dies a few years earlier or a few years later. It would be great if my blood can save your daughter's life. Definitely beats me dying for nothing, and no good for anybody, Ling Hucheng replied indifferently. He could almost see in his imagination how apathetically Yue Lingshan would have reacted to the news of his death. She might even throw in a few comments on top of that, like, that's got to serve him right, or he's got what he deserved. A strong feeling of self-pity welled up in Ling Hucheng's heart. Yeah, he's wrong on that point. Like, I think she would cry. Like, even though she doesn't love him anymore, she still thinks of him as a brother, right? Ling Hucheng is just in a bad place right now. Old man raised his thumb. You are a real tough guy. Man, I've never seen anyone like you before, he praised. It's too bad my daughter will definitely die if she doesn't drink your blood. Otherwise, I'd have let you go. Making a trip to the kitchen, Old Man returned with a basin of boiling hot water. While holding a sharp knife in his right hand, he soaked a towel in the hot water using his left hand and then placed it on the pit of Ling Hucheng's stomach. Suddenly, Zhu Qianqu's voice shouted from outside. Old man, open the door. I've got some good stuff for your daughter not dead. Old Man frowned. With a swift swing, he sliced the hot towel in half and then stuffed half of it into Ling Hucheng's mouth. What good stuff, he murmured to himself as he set down the knife and the basin before opening the front door to let Zhu Qianqu in. Hey, old man, how are you going to thank me for this? Zhu Qianqu spoke excitedly as soon as he entered the room. Damn it, what was my voice for him again? He's a scholar, so he kind of speaks in a scholarly way. It was in such urgency, but I couldn't find you, so I took your life-extending 8 pills and fooled him into taking them. If you had known about it, you would have brought those Catholicons of yours to him yourself, but I bet you he wouldn't take the pills that way. What nonsense, Old Man rebuked. But after Zhu Qianqu whispered something right next to his ear, he jumped up all of a sudden. Is this real? You are not joking about it, he asked loudly. Why would I joke about it? From what I heard, it is... Oh, yeah. It's kind of how that... I gave him a kind of a high voice. Why would I joke about it? From what I heard, it is absolutely true. Now, old man, we have been bosom friends for decades long. Tell me, did I do it the way you would have wanted me to, or not? Zhu Qianqu replied. Right, damn, Old Man shouted, stamping his foot to the ground in agony. Wow, what's going on? What right, and what damn? Zhu Qianqu was confused. You are right, and I am damned, Old Man answered. Why are you damned? Zhu Qianqu was even more confused. Dragging Zhu by the hand, Old Man led him straight into his daughter's bedroom. As soon as he saw Ling Hucheng, he dropped onto his knees and started kowtowing frantically. Kowtowing is bowing. What is going on? George says, plot armor. There you go. Young Master Linghu, Grandpa Linghu, I must have been so damned blind to have offended you today. Thank heavens that Zhu Qianqu got here just in time. If I had cut you open and killed you, I would have been damned to hell. Even if someone had roasted me to death and stewed all my fats into grease, it wouldn't have been enough punishment worth of my crime. With the half-towel still stuffed in his mouth, Ling Hucheng only answered with some indistinguishable grunts. Zhu Qianqu hurriedly dug the towel out of Ling Hucheng's mouth and asked, Young Master Ling... Oh, that's too high. Young Master Linghu, how did you get here? Senior Master Old, please get up. I am certainly not worth of such etiquette from you. You are really embarrassing me now. Ling Hucheng spoke hurriedly as soon as the towel was out of his mouth. I had no idea about the relationship between young Master Ling Hu and my savior. How dare I to offend you like this? Alas, I am such a moron. Alas, I should have gone to hell. Even if I had 100 daughters and all of them are dying right now, I dare not to even imagine having young Master Ling Hu to shed one drop of blood to save their cursed lives. Old man mumbled on. Oh my god. What kind of relationship between young Master Ling Hu and his savior? Who is his savior? Old man, why did you tie young Master Ling Hu up here? Zhu Qianchu rolled his eyes. Alas, in a word, it was I who have committed all kinds of outrages and perverse acts. Can't you just shut up and spare me some embarrassment? Old man replied. And why do you have a basin of hot water and a sharp knife over here? Zhu Qianchu asked again. Old man didn't answer his question. Instead, he raised his hand and started slapping his own face hard. His fat face already looked like a pumpkin to start with. Now, after the strong slaps, it puffed up even more. Like the dynamics of this room just changed. I must have been very muddle-headed, but I have no clue about what has happened recently. Will you, senior master, please shed some lights for me? Ling Huchang beseeched. Why don't we talk that over some drinks? Suggested old man as he and Zhu Qianchu untied the rope around Ling Huchang hastily. Casting a side glance toward the girl on the bed, Ling Huchang asked, Would your daughter's illness get any worse? No, it will not. Even if it does, alas, well, that's... Old man kept murmuring to himself words that no one except himself could recognize. After ushering Ling Huchang and Zhu Qianchu to the front hall, Old Man filled 3 bowls with wine and also took out a large plate of pork strips to go with the wine. Raising his wine respectfully, he proposed a toast to Ling Huchang. Ling Huchang poured the wine down his throat in continued gulps. The wine only had a slight taste. The wine only had a light taste and was quite ordinary. But if compared to the wine he had drunk from Zhu Qianchu's wine cups, it tasted at least 10 times better. Young Master Ling Hu, I'm such a stupid muddlehead to have offended you. Alas, that really... Speaking with a terrified face, Old Man was out of words to express his sincere regrets. Young Master Ling Hu is a large-minded man. He won't blame you. Besides, if the life-extending 8 pills of yours are truly effective and could mend young Master Ling Hu's health, then you will be the one to thank for. Zhu Qianchu comforted him. Well, I don't deserve the credit. Brother Zhu, we've got to thank you, Old Man answered. Zhu Qianchu grinned. Since I took your 8 pills, I was afraid that it might hinder niece not dead's recovery. Here are some ginsengs for her to take as a tonic. He stooped down and then took out a basket. After removing the lid, he pulled out holds of ginsengs, some thick and some slender. There were perhaps at least 10 pounds of them. Where did you get so much ginseng? Old Man asked. Where else? From the medicine shop, of course. I borrowed some, Zhu Qianchu answered with a mischievous grin. Like when Liu Bei borrowed the city of Qinzhou. There's no returning. Old Man burst into loud laughter. Even though he forced a smile, he still couldn't completely hide the grief and the worries written on his face. Mr. Old and Mr. Zhu, Ling Huchang said, although you had good intentions trying to mend my injuries, one of you tricked me and the other one tied me up. Now, isn't that a bit disrespectful for me? Hearing that, both Old Man and Zhu Qianchu stood up immediately and bowed to Ling Huchang with their hands folded in front. Young Master Ling Hu, we are so sorry. You can punish us any way you see fit. We certainly deserve it, they answered in unison. Kuria thinks the meatballs' savior is the killer doctor. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, the daughter and Linghu are super confused. Like, what the hell is going on? Fine, I have a question. You must give me a straight answer. Will you please tell me who is behind all these that have made you show such great respect to me? Ling Hu Chong asked. Old Man and Zhu Qianchu exchanged a stare at each other. Well, that's your question? Old Man murmured. Young Master Ling Hu, of course you know this person. Please forgive us for daring not to mention this person's name, Zhu Qianchu answered after a pause. But I swear that I don't know who he is, Ling Hu Chong assured them. He couldn't help but ponder. Is it Grand Uncle Master Feng? Or is it Great Master No Commandment? Or even Tianbo Guang? How about Elder Bamboo Green? It doesn't seem to be any of them. Grand Uncle Master Feng certainly has such respectful reputation and prestige, but he is living a secluded life and didn't even allow me to let out his whereabouts. How could he have left Mount Huashan for this? Young Master, what you are asking here, Brother Old and I most definitely dare not to answer. Even if you kill us, we wouldn't dare answer just the same. You already know the answer in your heart. Why do you have to force us to spill it out? Zhu Qianchu replied. Hearing the firm tone in his voice, Ling Hu Chong knew that it would be of no use to try to force the answer out from them. So he said, Fine, you're not answering my question. It's certainly not helping with venting my fury. Mr. Old, you tied me up to a chair and scared the wits out of me. It's my turn to tie the two of you up this time, and maybe I still wouldn't be relieved and would want to cut out your hearts. Old Man and Zhu Qianchu exchanged another stare, and then answered in unison. If you want to tie us up, we dare not resist in any way. Old Man took out 2 chairs and a bunch of thick ropes. The 2 of them first tied their own feet to the legs of the chairs tightly, and then placed their hands behind their back. Young Master Ling Hu, if you will, they said, both thinking that Ling Hu Chong wasn't really going to tie them up to vent his anger, and most likely he was just joking. But to their great surprise, Ling Hu Chong actually picked up the rope and tied their hands behind their backs as tightly as he could before picking up Old Man's knife. I can't seal your pressure points with my finger because I lost all my inner energy, but I am afraid that you would try to get out of the ropes. That's why I am going to strike your pressure points with the knife handle to seal them that way, Ling Hu Chong explained. He turned the knife over and then struck the 2 with much strength as the Huantao, Tianzhu, and Shaohai points using the knife handle. It took him a while to finally seal the pressure points. Stunned, Old Man and Zhu Qianchu looked at each other in speechless despair and soon felt trickles of fear growing into swarms of terror, not knowing what Ling Hu Chong had planned next. You wait for me here, Ling Hu Chong exclaimed as he turned and walked out of the hall. Holding the knife in his grip, Ling Hu Chong walked out until he was outside of the girls' bedroom. He cleared his throat and then asked, Miss, how are you feeling? He had wanted to address her as Miss Old, but then decided against that. Even though the girl's family name was Old, in her young age it wouldn't sound very appropriate to call her Miss Old. And Miss Old Not Dead would simply be unimaginably queer. The girl didn't answer, but only let out a slight snort. Ling Hu Chong lifted the cotton curtain and then entered the room. He could see her in a sitting position, leaning against the pillows, her eyes slightly open, half awake and half asleep. Ling Hu Chong took 2 steps forward. Now he could see that the skin on her face almost looked like crystal. Blue veins could clearly be seen underneath the light yellowish muscles. It almost appeared as if he could see the blood flowing slowly along the veins. It was so quiet in the room. Everything was in a standing still, not even a trace of brisk wind, as if the blood inside her was also coagulating drop by drop, except her tender breathing, so weak that it seemed as if every time when she breathed out, that was one less breath for her. Gabriel still thinks that bambooed old young. The sound the granny is behind all this. Hmm. You're sticking to your theory, huh? This young girl could have survived if I didn't take her pills by mistake. I don't have many days left anyway. It doesn't make a much difference whether I live a few days or more. Ugh. It doesn't make much difference whether I live a few days more or a few days less, does it? Ling Hucheng thought aloud. He reached out and grabbed a china bowl. Placing it on the bed table, he raised his left wrist and then sliced it open with the knife. Blood immediately gushed out like a spring and poured down into the china bowl. Noticing that the basin of hot water Old Man had prepared earlier was still letting out hot steams, he set the knife down and then splashed some hot water over the cut on the wrist so the blood wouldn't start clotting too soon. Within moments, blood had filled more than half the bowl. Even in the wooziness, the girl soon noticed the strong smell of blood, and as soon as she opened her eyes, the sight of blood, dripping all over from Ling Hucheng's wrist, terrified her. She let out a shriek in shock. Seeing that the bowl was almost filled with blood, Ling Hucheng walked next to the bed and then held the bowl right next to the girl's mouth. Hurry, drink this. There are panaceas in the blood that will be able to cure your disease, he urged gently. I'm afraid. I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink that. I did the old man voice, like the low voice of that meatball man so much that now I can't do the high voice. I'm scared. I don't want to drink that. The girl rejected. Oh, that's it. That's it. I think the chapters these days are shorter, right? Yeah. The past 4 have been super short. All right, what did you guys think? What did you guys think of that chapter? The plot thickens. Things are getting weird. Yeah, why is everyone treating him like he's like God. He's like the king. And they're all helping him. And this old man, this meatball man, even sacrificed the life of his daughter just to let him live. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, what do you guys think? What is going on? What is going on? Should I take another gummy? How about some rose tea? Yeah, who likes the meatball man? He seems like a fun guy. Oh. It's pink. Alright, should I eat the head first? No. There you go. No, I think we'll stop here and we'll read the next chapter next week. Alright. Short and sweet. This taste is very strong. It's kind of rosy taste. Way too strong for me. So this is the best. Number 1, Number 2, number 3. The rose kind of tastes like perfume. It's a very strong smell. I feel like I'm eating perfume. Does it taste like a rose? No. Does a rose have a taste? I've never eaten the petals of a rose before. But I assume it just tastes like bitter and nasty. It tastes like perfume. Has a strong perfumey taste, which is kind of weird. Yeah, it's not strawberry. All right, let's end it with the usual fireball. Yeah. Does it taste the way a rose smells? Not really. I don't know. All right. Cheers, you guys. Merry Christmas. And oh, Happy New Year. Happy New Year next week. Mm. Gabriel. I did do the granny voice. I made it very young sounding. But because it's supposed to be young sounding. If you read the